Welcome to Browser, where I highlight Albany Public Library's digital book and audiobook resources. We'll start today's show with a segment called Dear Browser, where I open up the mailbag and give some advice to an inquiring emailer. Dear Browser, one of the things I miss most about visiting the library is the section where you'd feature brand new fiction and nonfiction. During my weekly visit, I would go straight to these shelves and pick out a couple of books to bring home and try out. I've gotten used to reading on my tablet using the Libby app, but without those shelves, I feel a bit lost. I know you're going to open the buildings up again soon, but can you let me into the library a little early? I promise I'll be quiet and won't tell anyone. Wondering what's new? A fellow browser. Dear a fellow browser, as much as I'd love to sneak you into the library early, and it pains me to see another book browser suffer, I'm afraid I can't oblige. But I've got a couple tricks for those of you yearning to browse newly published books. Overdrive users may have noticed there are new ebook editions and new audiobook editions pages, both linked under the Collections tab. This is a great starting place, but those looking for brand spanking new books might be a little disappointed with the results, because along with recently published books, these pages also include many older books that are only recently made available on Overdrive. But I've got great news. On the upper right hand side of the page there is a sorting option. Click on that, then choose not to sort by date added, but rather by release date. This will first list books that are not yet released but soon to be available, and this is great for those of you who want to keep an eye on what's coming soon. After that list of upcoming books, you'll see all the freshly published books. You can use the filtering options on the left-hand side of the page to narrow your search to recently published mystery or romance or cookbooks or whatever other genre tickles your fancy. If you use Libby on a smartphone or tablet, you'll find something similar. First, click on the Explore option on the home screen. Then find the link for What's New. What you'll find is the same issue as we found using Overdrive, a mix of brand new and also brand new to Libby, but not actually recently published books. To sort these, go to the Refine button and choose to sort by release date. This will give you that same list of soon-to-be published books as we saw in Overdrive, then followed by books that were just recently published. You can also filter these by going to the top of the page and selecting one of the filtering options so that you'll only see thrillers or historical fiction or again some other category that interests you. While there's perhaps nothing quite like browsing a good book display, hopefully these tips will keep you occupied for a bit until we get back in those buildings. Well, that email made me feel a little wistful. Here I am trapped in this computer browser when I'd just like to be back in the library with all of you. Well, I'm never one to run away from my emotions, so let's dig in and do some book therapy. Here are some things I'm missing during this very abnormal spring season, and maybe we can find some books to help me and you through it. During more normal spring months, I'm spending many a night plopped in front of a screen watching playoff basketball. If you like basketball and also enjoy laughing out loud while reading a book, I'd recommend Shea Serrano's alternate history thought experiment joyride of a book, Basketball and Other Things, available on Hoopla. In it, Serrano deals with the tough questions like, who are the best dunkers of all time, and what player had the best free throw ritual? As you can probably tell, the author takes nothing too seriously. Or rather, he takes very unserious things way too seriously. This book is hilarious, beautifully illustrated, and amidst all the fun nonsense, is filled with actually true and super interesting history. Aside from watching basketball, I'm also likely to visit an art museum or two to check out the new exhibitions. Art lovers and creators everywhere need not mourn too deeply for missing out on galleries unvisited, as we've got everything from artist memoirs to art histories to how to paint guides. For example, read this scorcher of a memoir by a seminal 1970s-80s New York City artist, David Wojnarowicz, available on Hoopla. Or on Overdrive and Libby, I might soon check out this brand new history of Frida Kahlo's Years in America. If you're looking for books on making art, on crafting, painting, fiberworks, or any other artistic practice, trust me, you've got plenty to choose from here. And if you're not sure where to start, maybe check out Lisa Congdon's new book, Find Your Artistic Voice. Then go from there. Normally around this time of year, aside from basketball and museums, I devote a bunch of time to spring cleaning. Since I'm spending more time at home, you'd think I'd have this place extra clean and tidy, but I've actually found it harder to keep up. Usually my home is a respite, a place of comfortable retreat after a long day, but now it's just kind of where I live, if that makes any sense, and I'm finding it harder to make it into that clean and peaceful place it once was. If you're like me and need some motivation, well, we've got inspiration aplenty. These books will have you making your own bathroom cleaner from scratch, reorganizing your kitchen pantry, and finally throwing out socks that have lost their partner. But I'm going to deal with the spring cleaning blues by embracing the filth for just a little bit longer, by giving E.L. Doctorow's Homer and Langley a second read. This book is about two eccentric and reclusive brothers living in a Fifth Avenue mansion. It's tragic, it's funny, it's based on a true story of a pair of hoarders who would put to shame any achievement of untidiness you can conjure in your imagination. In comparison, all of a sudden, my messy home feels a little bit cozier. I'm wishing everybody a little bit of coziness right now. And thank you for tuning in, and of course, until next time,